Are you ready?
Speak.
Break it down.
Just sit here.
Why are you walking? Are you still?
It's good. It's go. It's a go.
All right. So I kind of figured that everything I had to say, I kind of got out in the application, which wasn't super lengthy, but I kind of got to the point, I think. So I just kind of want to hear your guys' concerns, questions, things. Mr. Padalita.
I've seen, and this isn't a whole, but I've seen in various parts of the organization, groups here, groups there, and this could possibly become a bigger problem because of the dues thing, but more of us going away from our roots, which was kind of a backyard, more casual experience, kind of group of friends thing, to more of like I hate to use the word, but elitist, less inclusive group that is more focused on being more sports-like and less game-like.
So tryhards.
If you want to say that, yeah. We're going from a bunch of friendly people to we're seeing more tryhardism going on here.
I wouldn't necessarily disagree with that. I think that just comes down to people bringing their friends and bringing that fun atmosphere back, which I try to do, but I don't do the best job of that at times. I mean, I don't really know that that's anything that's in one person's hands. It's just kind of bring those friends back, make it a group of friends again. I mean, I know for HVZ I was with the zombies most of the time, and that's pretty much how that was. I mean, I don't think having tryhards is necessarily a bad thing, but...
Dues has been a divisive issue ever since the last Constitution passed, and it paralyzed the exec board before the one you're currently in, and it has been a touchy subject on the current exec board. What is your opinion on dues, and what would you do to dues in the upcoming term?
I think that dues, the way the new Constitution is written, where paying dues gets you the right to vote, is a good thing to do. And giving the admins power to allow non-members to play. Because then we're not, well, we could potentially be excluding people depending on who the admins are. But we have the potential to not exclude anybody, so we keep that. We keep all of our membership, which I think is the most important thing. But at the same time, we're supplementing our income, which mostly comes from bandanas at this point in time. So that gives us money to stay afloat and to expand a bit on the games that we do, but we're also not cutting out people, which I think is more important. I think there's always a way to find money, but if you run out of people, then there's nothing for us. We're not an organization without the members.
Just a quick thing that you had 15 minutes to give your spiel, so continue.
Okay, that's fine.
In your app, you said you want to stabilize the organization. How do you plan to do that?
I believe I said I wanted to stabilize the financial aspect of the organization, which I think the new dues will allow. I think the old dues, where it was, well, it was kind of shown as pay or don't play kind of thing. I think the new dues kind of help with that. I also think we should just have donation jars. Like, why don't we just accept money when people want to give it away? Also, there's some fundraisers I've been trying to work out. Some stuff with CAP, which I find out somebody already does at certain times of the year. So I could talk to them and see if maybe we could take that over. I don't know who does it, to be honest. I don't know. I think getting people to do fundraising is the problem, but I think there are plenty of decent ideas out there. And then, as usual, bandana sales, the other merchandise sales that we have set up but we're not actually using at this point for some reason in time. I don't really know why that is, but I mean, all those things are going to help.
What are your qualifications? In detail.
I have not really been in a leadership position of an organization this large, ever. I've been section leader. I was section leader in high school. I'm kind of a section leader now. I'm only not because I'm essentially a sophomore, so I transferred. My youth group, I led that. I was on the council for that. I don't know. I don't really seek out leadership positions. I don't usually seek out leadership positions unless, I mean, I feel strongly about the organization, so that's part of it. And I also think I can do a better job. I mean, that's why anybody runs for any sort of leadership position. And I've never really been in a place where I thought that I needed to run. I'm also the admin of Dodgeball, which is just so stressful and important.
Let him go first. Yeah,
Okay.
First of all, are you a Russian spy?
I don't think so, but I may not be awake yet.
I thought so. Anyway, no, I didn't actually read any of the stuff before coming here, so I have no idea. But what's your plan to get to introduce membership to UGO?
I have a couple things. I know that the football team helps people move in, and that organizations have tables set up, like on move-in days, which I couldn't implement this semester, but we could lay the groundwork for that. I think having a couple people outside of the residence halls on move-in day, just handing out pamphlets, flyers, whatever, just a list of events for the first couple of months, or just whenever we meet weekly, would get to a ton of people. I know Dustin did that when he worked Welcome Week. General flyers is always, that's always going to be an answer that somebody brings up. Somebody's going to see it and they're going to show up. I've had a few people come out to Dodgeball, they're like, oh, I heard about this, 3 weeks ago, I just saw a flyer for it somewhere. Or they heard about it at the activity fair, we just didn't get there. So we're getting to people, but getting them to come out to games is still a problem. Having a better organized Facebook page that we make sure people know about. Because we're there, but I don't know that I've heard anybody at a game mention it. Maybe early in the year, maybe, and I know HVZ did it. But we don't talk about the fact that we have a UGL Facebook page all that much. And of course, bring your friends. Just grab everybody.
So that you don't usually run for things unless you think that you need to, or that there's not someone else better. That I paraphrased you properly.
Yeah.
Why are you doing it now then?
Because I think I can do a better job. Regardless of, the issues the personal issues that me and Steven have had, I think I can do a better job with him, and I disagree with him on points. I think that, I don't know, I disagree with him. I think I can do a better job.
Do you see yourself more as the Romney or as the Obama in this situation?
I plead the fifth.
Hillary.
Do you think that the shortened term will affect your plans for the UGL, since you're only going to be going from the spring for the total spring semester?
Qualification, if the Constitution passes.
Yeah.
We're running under that assumption.
We'll run under that assumption, okay.
Under the assumption that it passes and I'm only in for a semester, I don't think that's going to have a huge impact on the things I have planned. Because I think most of the things I have planned are pretty simple and quick to do. Some of them require work, like putting out flyers and talking to people is always going to require work, always. But it's not super time consuming, if you know what I mean. Like, it's not going to take me months to put flyers out, or to just mass Facebook message people, or to go to, all the other groups that are Ball State only and just spam the crap out of it until they ban me.
So you think.
I don't think anything is too super time consuming. And implementing like donations and stuff like that, the important things, like, that's just a matter of getting a donation jar.
7 minutes.
Great.
7 minutes left or 7 minutes?
Left.
What game do you feel like you have the least experience in, and how will that affect you as president?
Assassins, Battle Royale. I haven't actually done Battle Royale when it was UGL. I did it when Peter led it. And Assassins and DAG maybe? They're all pretty equal. I haven't been to them much.
You did some DAG last
I did some DAG last
last year.
A couple times, but I was kind of injured a lot last year.
Was it because of
ankle.
that?
No, it was because of HVZ. Both times.
Hurts himself.
He
in
decided
HBC
that
every
it was
I
a
got
proper
back.
method to get a kill, and then he's like, oh, my bones, my ankles.
That's what I'm saying.
I feel like with the specific admins running their games, I don't know that it'll have a huge impact. I don't know. I feel like I know the games well enough that it won't have an impact, and assuming that the people that are in charge of those specific games know what they're doing. But if they don't, then that's a bridge we can cross when we get there.
As you alluded to earlier, we are a financially difficult organization. How will you prioritize funding, and what would be the major points of your prioritization?
Funding is already kind of prioritized in the Constitution, I believe, where Tier 1 games get priority, then Tier 2, then Tier 3.
Yes.
basically it'll be, what do they need? How creative they're being about getting it. Like CTF socks, for instance. She wasn't like, I'm gonna, ask for $30 and go buy $30 worth of socks. She was like, I'm gonna do a sock drive. And we talked about Goodwill, because I don't think Goodwill takes used socks. We had talked about going and talking to them. If somebody just comes to me and, if the CTF admin came to me and said, I need socks, kind of $30, I would be, what have you done to this point to fix that problem? If they haven't done anything, then I'm not gonna be all that willing to give them money, because we don't have a lot of it. Obviously, HVC is probably going to take first priority. Biggest game, draws in people. The more people we draw in, the more people we can get to stay for other games. After that, it's just kind of need. Sorry, Joel's hand was up first.
Just what you've done in the past in terms of moderating and adminning and all that. Like the two biggest games that have most of your personal touch on them are Dodgeball and HVC.
Yeah, I guess I was a mod for HVC. I kind of forgot
Yeah,
that.
but
I'm
just
sorry, Garrett. Just stop it.
just with
That was
those,
a rough week.
do you think that just your personal feelings and your history with those games are going to make it so that you favor those more than other games?
No.
Looking over the president?
I don't think so.
Don't think so.
I mean, I don't know. I don't see why there's any reason I would need to favor them because of personal preference. I don't know. I try to be objective. I think that's the best way to do things.
Would you objectively admit that HVC is the best?
I would not.
Laser tag.
Yeah, laser tag. There we go. That's the best.
Oh,
Laser tag's getting all the funding, guys.
Oh shit, not a game.
Will you bring back laser tag?
If the UGL as a whole decides it wants laser tag, then I'm sure we can come up with the money to get laser tag. If nobody in the UGL, when I say nobody, I mean if 4 people in the UGL want it and they can't come up with it, then I mean there's no reason to have a game that nobody wants to play. If that makes sense.
Sucks to suck.
True story. Anything else? I know you missed a lot of the intro.
Yeah, I did. Were you the first one to speak?
Yes, we went over the Constitution prior to this, and now I'm here.
Started from the bottom, now you're here.
I'm going to kill you, Nick.
I'm supposed to do it last time.
Okay.
That it?
I moved to censure Spivey.
To what?
Censor.
Spivey is
Oh.
coolest.
Censor.
Will you make yourself a ranged weapon?
Will you pass an amendment constitutionally mandating that you are in fact a
Just
throwable
say.
melee weapon?
I have been told that I'm not to speak on that point.
Great.
And by told, I mean Jules was just waving and flapping his arms at me like a bird.
I mean, that's your native tongue, correct? Inside jokes, 7 people understood it. Continue.
Alright. I think we're done here.
We're not done here. His hand is up. Stop
We got
it.
2:15 still. so-
Whatever it takes to get the judge.
Now we're done.
Now we're done.
Now we're done.
It is done.
Motion to close the floor.
Alright.
I second.
Thanks.
I
man.
don't consider this organization legitimate enough to use that lingo. I prefer